should be basically with certain things, but I just feel like
everything is so
like,
squeezed, but nothing can get better until everything gets better, because I feel like in some ways the system makes certain things shit so that they can take them out later and put the new one in. If they had one that was working perfectly, they wouldn't need to need to upgrade.
That kind of.
So I mean, again, it's about perspective. When you go to some countries and it's really poor, and you see how populated somewhere like London is, and how many buses we have on the road. One thing I would say is that, like, you know, London transport in general, the people who work, there are actually it's such heavy work for people that are working and driving buses, and they can be doing like, you know, like 6 day a week, like 12-hour shifts,
you know,
throughout the night and stuff like that, and they're definitely overworked. And when you see any service and the people who are working the service are overworked, that service is not going to be good. Similarly to support work, if you've got people overworked in the care system, then they're not going to give a good care system. So that's what we're seeing when we're seeing London Transport. But when we compare London Transport to other places in the world, like, our transport service is pretty good. It is amazing.
Try fuck off to Africa somewhere and go. Bumpy bros.
Yeah. Try and go even to country.
No, you know what?
Try and go to even to
But you know, when I was in Colombian bus, the bus was alright, but the border had some bit of wind and it was alright.
Bro, in our country,
I had more fun on a Colombian bus than an English bus.
Oh yeah.
It was just. But it was like, hey,
bro, and sometimes when it's packed, it's like, when it's packed and hot, everybody on it.
No seatbelt,
man. No seatbelt whatsoever, man. What area did both of you grow up in? Like, which area?
Brixton.
Oh, both Brixton?
Yeah.
But we went out and lived in different areas.
And you always,
Chelsea, Fulham, and she was there, but I didn't know her. And she went off somewhere else, and we following each other without even knowing.
Yeah. I mean, you hear a lot of stories about Brixton, innit? Because even for me, I grew up in North London. This is where I grew up and stuff like that most of my life. Even though I've ended up going East London, Dagenham, I went to school there for whatever reason. I ended up playing football as well. But this is home to me. Tottenham, North London is home to me, innit? Would you say Brixton is home to you as well? That's the place where you got the vibe is there. Most of your friends that you can identify with, the local boss man. You know, like there's a certain area where it's like, this is my home.
Well, we lived in so many places all over. As I said, we lived in so many places all over London. And
mainly
we came back full circle, both of us.
That's when you know that's when you know it's home, you know. Cause that's how I feel like.
And then we met up together.
Tottenham.
Yeah, and it was just like, for me, coming back to Brixton, especially after a tough time, in that last part of, like, you know, living away from, like, my home place. You know, it was really just kind of like a security, and just feeling that air, just feeling the warmth of, like, these people around me, and they were just like me, and they were just like me, you know. And I felt more of myself. I felt better.
I used to come up here as well a lot.
Myself.
Like Community Seven Sisters.
Like what? This must sound a little bit sad because I haven't, not sad, but it is what it is. I haven't been on holiday for a hot minute, so like the closest sometimes, obviously there's little places up and down the country, but sometimes the closest I could ever get to feeling like you're back in Africa or you're back home, when I walk on West Green Road, you see that West Green Road? You're already numb. Bare African, bare obviously different cultures. But I feel like I'm in England, I feel like I'm, 1 minute I feel like I'm in Turkey, next minute I feel like I'm in Nigeria, next minute I feel like I'm there. But I feel,
exactly, it's got the Brixton vibe.
Yeah, exactly, innit? It's just got, you know, them roads have got multi-cultures. When you walk up and down, you see so many different cultures, Africa, India, Caribbean, all on one thing. It just feels nice, man.
London in general is so multicultural. That's the thing.
That's the comic thing that we get.
It's probably one of the only one like in the whole world. It's so multicultural.
You ain't got hardly anyone around you like that. But you have all the nature and everything that you need. And then you come to London to find that security, but you miss the nature. So you just have to at some point you find yourself, and and one thing that I think helps you is like kind of letting go of culture. and building your own. And when you're in London, it's really easy for you to do that because you become to get to know so many people.
That's actually interesting. You know, touch on that a little bit more. That's interesting.
And you adopt some of their culture into your own, and then it mixes your kind of cultural behaviours, and then you no longer have to be in a certain place to feel comfortable. You can just take whoever you are as an individual and just go anywhere with it. So, you know, where these things are kind of like a comfort to us, they can also be a hindrance as well, because we can feel like we don't actually belong unless we got that.
So would you guys quickly say, you see that how some people say, oh, this is my culture, this is my culture. So would you guys say, because all of us go through our own journey to become the person that we are. Ian is different, what makes Ian, what makes me is different. We all go through our own journeys, innit? So would you say that the best way to do this is like to take certain aspects of things from different cultures and then become your own person rather than sticking to just that one culture and say, no, this is my culture. It's like dividing. It's like, this is my culture, this is my culture, rather than taking the best bits of different cultures that make you a better person. And
definitely. Do you know much people can't go vegan because of culture?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Enough people can't go vegan because of culture.
Imagine that.
Because if they stop eating animals, they'll kind of get shunned a little bit. There'll be certain things that they can't do. So like Jamaica, they have things they call like for example like Fish Friday and them thing there, where they whole dance and everybody eat fried fish and them thing there. So it's like if you stop eating meat, then you don't go to them things no more. And then people be like, yeah, but that's who I am, so I'm not going to do that. But you got to choose what's more to you.
I'm getting voices in my head. This is reminding me of the same thing as religion. What religion will do to you. Because I'm Muslim. I can't do that. Because I'm thinking, rather than the more we grow up again saying, why don't you just basically say, you know what, not to be rude, but I'm not seeing myself as either Christian or whatever, but I'm going to take different aspects from one good aspect from Christianity.
That makes sense to me.
Exactly, and then basically make it, as I said again, and make it as a whole again and say, look, I'm not this whatever, but I'm just a spiritual, free-being person who takes the best aspects of each religion and live by that. You got to say, rather than being restricted in one place, you get me?
Can I disagree?
No, of course, come on, of course.
I think culture's a big deal. It's a huge deal.
No, we're not saying it's not a big deal. So, we're just saying like in terms of like, for you, so say like you're Jamaican, yeah? And then I was Jamaican, yeah? We were all raised to be Jamaican, but if I grow up and mentally I become a different person, I'll come to you and say, I'm not gonna lie, even though we Rasta and stuff like that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just Shafiq, and I'm gonna grow my locks and stuff like that. I'm gonna take from that Muslim person, brother, I hear them thing, the good things, and I'm gonna take something from that person. And I'm literally, like we said, literally use all of these little aspects and just literally keep on moving forward rather than sticking to just being a Rasta or being like a Jamaican. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the way I just look at it. So it's not like you're leaving your culture. You're just, because remember, the last thing when I said to not confuse you lot, remember, culture, not everything in culture is good, you know. Some things in cultures are bad as well. You're going to say, in every culture you go good and bad, you get me? So you're going to say, so sometimes imagine sticking to one culture and saying, this is my culture. So we're not saying culture is bad whatsoever. It just, either we agree to disagree, what we're just saying, just the best thing to do to just take good aspects from religion or different cultures and just keep on moving and just be that you as a person, not stagnant into just one place. This is my culture, this is what I believe in. That's what I think.
And culture changes, like, it does.
Everyone who looks at it from here, this point of view, but if you look at it here, it's different.
Yeah, because guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm saying this because also I went through, like, obviously I'm from a Muslim family and stuff like that, so I've got to a point where now I don't identify myself to be Muslim or anything like that. I identify myself, I've got my own relationship with God. Every time before I go to bed, I pray to God, but when I pray to him, I talk to him like how I talk to him. And I've got this thing where it's like God understands me for me. I'm not gonna go down and pray in Arabic Arabic and all of these things because I'm Muslim. No. The more I've grown up, I've realized like even that for me personally, again, I might be wrong or whatever, but for me personally, I feel like even there's pros and cons in everything. There's contradict people who Muslims and all of these. There's people in all over different cultures and all of these places. They contradict themselves as well. So that's why we say. That's why maybe it's not safe to just put yourself in one culture. Do you understand? That's to be safe. Don't put yourself in that one culture, that one religion, because like not everything within that one religion is like might be right or whatever. That's the way I look
It's
at
like
it.
it's
Anyway.
good. It's good to have traditions. It's good to have
That's
something to go back to.
I'm not
it's
right.
good to know your people.
I'm saying it.
It's good to have a
from my own-
group of people where you feel comfortable around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to have tribe and stuff like that. But again, we're talking about. Remember we talked about addiction and passion and the difference between that. These are kind of like, you know, influences. I would call them like tribal influences.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But when we're talking about culture, that is a label. That's you. That's like who you are. Like me, I was grown up as Jamaican, and I felt that culture with me the entire time, no matter where I went to.
Yeah.
So I will go different places and I will easily blend in because I'm that type of person. But I still feel like a Jamaican there. Which is not a bad thing either, because a lot of that spirit is with me, and that's great. Like that's energies with me, and it keep me strong, and it really allowed me to show, the empowered version of a woman wherever I went to. Certain places I'll go to, there weren't no empowered women there, but I come with my Jamaican self. I come and I show them, and I show them that's okay, an empowered version of a woman.
Yeah.
But then at some point, you want to do certain things, and you don't feel like you fit in there. But you do fit in there. When we first started going to festivals, and everybody was like being free, like taking their shoes off, and the kids running around, and they're doing meditation things together and whatever. I was really, really, really feeling like a fish out of water at this point. And it took me a little while and a process to just come to the fact that I do belong here, and the people that were there were so loving and open and brought me into their fold and showed me that you're welcome here, but it still take time and time and time, because I consider myself